And welcome back to Life After Baseball. I'm your host, JP, and I got my co-host here, Cam.
Chris Campbell here. You know the vibes.
And today we have episode 3 of this beautiful, beautiful podcast. Just as a reminder, guys, this is Life After Baseball. This is the only show out here that is highlighting people and baseball players specifically who did not make it pro or didn't make it to the major leagues in their sport, but they still had the opportunity to make it in the major leagues in their respected lane. So today, for our next episode, we're going to have Chris introduce this heavy hitter of a guest that we got today. So Cam, do the honors, brother.
Yes, sir. So today, I'm honored to welcome my brother, Jordan Santiago, to the podcast. Jordan,
Please, round of applause.
Heavy hitter. I like that. I like that intro.
That's a
I like
fact.
that. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys having me on too.
Absolutely.
But right before anything, one thing I really wanted to do is just give you your flowers, bro. Just like, I don't know anybody who's like just been a great player, a great business owner, but more than anything, you're a great friend. And I appreciate, like having people like you in my life that really inspire me, just to be my best self. So I wanted to give you your flowers for sure.
I appreciate that. And likewise, right back to you.
No, for sure. So Jordan, talk to us. Who are you? What do you do? And we'll go from there.
Yeah. So my name is Jordan Santiago. I am from Queens, New York, born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
Still here. The best
See.
spot in the world to me, right? I'm a 7-figure real estate investor. I run a wholesale and fix and flip operation where we buy up, distressed properties, we
Mhm.
flip them, or we're
Right.
flipping the contracts. I'm a real estate coach, so I teach people to do exactly what I do, get their first deal, close a $10,000 plus deal from the comfort of their home. And then I'm an entrepreneur. I feel like I embody what an entrepreneur truly is.
Amen.
And then most importantly, I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm a badass uncle as well.
I love that. I love the comfortability, and I love how you really, really know yourself just like that. Well,
That's it.
you can tell that it comes from a long journey of like ups and downs, that entrepreneurial path really kind of shaped and molded that. And I can only imagine, what baseball how also shaped and molded in that. So, talking into baseball, let's switch the conversation of, where does the story with you and baseball start, and how does it tie into all of this? Where do you and baseball meet? Is it something that, it found you, or you chose the sport?
Yeah.
No, I think for me, just like a lot of other people, parents put you in a T-ball.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's a
So I'm
fact.
there, my little ass self, just like there fucking around. And but also I come from a big sports family, specifically a big Yankee family.
Amen. That's what I'm talking
Huge.
about.
Right? So like my dad will be Game 7. My dad's locked in, wants people fired, cursing at the TV, right? Like that's just where we come from, right? So obviously Yankee, especially in like the era that we grew up,
Yep.
you're following A-Rod, Jeter,
Cano.
right? Cano. For me,
Soriano,
like I fell in
Williams.
love with like Gary Sheffield, his swing, right? So that's when you're with the whiff ball bat, like
Everyone's
Right?
done it.
So-
You got to.
Exactly. So like it really started for me there. And then obviously as you watch those guys, especially in that era where it's such a
Right.
good Yankees team, you fall in love with it and you try to be like them when you go out on the field, right? You start trying to do things that they do, right? So it all started for T-ball. Obviously was nothing serious, right? Going along, and I think the moment where stuff kind of changed was, and it's really when I met you, travel ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's when you feel like it ticks up a notch.
I feel like that's the story for a lot of people that, you're in your local little league and, you're playing, you're having your fun. But then once you get exposed to that little piece of travel ball to where you traveling to like one borough over or something like that, you feel like, oh yeah, I'm one of them. Like I'm traveling. I feel professional.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, you're playing with the kids in your neighborhood and stuff like that. And then travel ball is you meet a whole different type of crew from different places with different goals and stuff like that. But you could feel the intensity is
It's over.
notching it up right away. You know what I mean? So it goes from, it's just fun to do to, are you going to take this serious
Right.
or not? You know what I mean?
So what was that first travel ball team? Because I know you said that it was when you met Cam, so I can assume that this is where the story converges with you two guys. So what was that first team?
So when I was younger, I didn't feel like I was great at baseball. I felt like I was all right. You know what I mean?
I respect that.
Basketball though, basketball.
Basketball, I'm a good basketball player as well. I still got
A little shaking.
a little something. And then I went to a hitting coach. That's where everything changed for me, right? So Gabby Martinez, as you know, shout out to Gabby, right? Barely speaks English, but knows how to get his point across.
Yeah.
Guy's a savant when it comes to hitting the fundamentals and stuff like that. Changed my whole trajectory, right? So I'm there, and now I actually start getting better and getting better.
And where is this? This is
in Astoria, and this is I think I'm in 4th grade at this time.
Okay.
4th or 5th grade.
That's early.
Right?
That's crazy. Having a hitting coach at like 4th, 5th grade, like that's how you know whether your parent. Well, obviously your parents were the ones that had to pay for it. So you know, shout out to Nat and Sam who are basically like, you know, mom and dad for me. They had the willingness to invest into you and invest into something that is not even a short thing.
Yeah. So obviously that takes a lot of time,
For sure.
right? Like my dad getting home from work. You know, my dad workaholic.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. You know, put a lot of time, a lot of effort into that, and that always meant, you know, a lot to me. But we were going to that hitting coach, and now I'm starting to improve. Right now, I'm going from good to like really good, really good. And I'm there one day, and the CP Stars, which is the first travel baseball team, the coach is there, and I think Chris was there as well, along with some other people taking BP. And he's looking over at me taking BP, and he comes over to my dad, and he comes over to Gab, and he starts asking questions. And he's like, "Yo, this kid should come to practice, right? Should come join the team." And Chris, you were there, right? Like that was the first time I met him,
remember that.
right? This is a minute ago. I mean, I must have been like 10 or 11 years old at that time.
Right.
And that was my first introduction into travel baseball. And again, right away, you could feel the difference of the shit you were doing, even in the cage, because in the cage is more
focused,
right? But the intensity of being around other people that are looking to be great and go to the majors, and the coaches play no games at all.
Different.
So it was totally different. So the first team was the CP Stars. It was life-changing.
I love that.
But talk to us about that journey with the Stars, right? I mean, I was there, but like just talk to us about, because that for me was like the turning point for me to see like, wow, like this is what baseball is at a competitive level. I mean, I was 12 year, you were 11 at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just
you're older than him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So but that also speaks to Jordan. Like he always played up. He always played against, whether it was basketball, baseball, whatever, against people that were better than him and were a year up at least. So
and I think that's a very important like piece that you bring up, and something that's important that you did is that as being an athlete, playing up, I think is very crucial, especially early on, because I feel like that is something that's preparing you for life, because once you step out into the real world, there is no age limit. There is no 10U, 12U, 18. You have to play up to your skill level. You got to play up to, because the playing field is the same now. Now it's just like, this is the ball game. Whether you're 18, whether you're 45, you got to perform. So I think playing up is really, really an important thing.
Yeah. And even in college, think about it, right? Like if you don't go JUCO, and you go to a 4-year school, whether you go to St. John's or whatever it is, you're a freshman that has to compete with spots with sophomores, especially if there's no JV team. So it's like now, you know, so that prepares you.
Even in the majors, you know, you're playing 37-year-olds and 20-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like there's no age limit right there. It's like, yo, you got it or you don't. You know what I mean? So that's like a perfect point and brings it into life as well. But I remember the first practice that I went to, I was like, oh shit. Like it was different. You know what I mean? Like we're in the gym, you know, like in the wintertime, you're in the basketball gym and stuff, right?
East baseball, baby.
Yeah. So I mean, the practice is fucking 3 hours long. You know what I mean? And I remember a dude just smoking the ball on the gym floor, just smoking the ball. And we're doing like planks and crunches and shit like that, you know, burpees, like the Indian runs, like all that, you know what I mean? Yeah, right?
I hate Indian
worst.
runs,
PTSD.
Yo, PTSD for real.
Yeah, bro.
And then there was no, oh, good job. You know, you fucking fielded the ground ball. It was like, yo, I'm going to smoke this at you, and you're supposed to field the ground ball. And if you don't, then it's a problem, right? But
standard.
It's a standard, right?
Yep, I was
so right away, I could see not only the difference of the coaches, but my teammates as well. And it was a seriousness about it that I actually loved, right? It was a shock at first,
Sure.
but the intensity of it, I felt like I thrived in, and I actually liked it because it got competitive, and I'm around him, Nicky Padilla, right? Like people that are trying to make it pro as well,
Absolutely.
even at that
Playing
young
pro
age.
right now.
Playing
Or
pro.
playing pro.
You say
Yeah,
Padilla, he's
100%.
there.
Right? And even people like Keith was a monster. You know what I mean? Like you're around these talented ass people now. And it's like, all right, well, how serious do you want to take it? Right? And at that moment, when I walked into that seriousness and that intensity, I was like, all right, this is when I'm taking serious.
And I feel like that also fit to you because when you were describing your family, how you were talking about your dad, how, game 7, he's locked in, that intensity and everything like that. I feel like that just fits so perfect with you because you're seeing, all right, a higher intensity and you're just like, this is like being at home. This is it for me.
Yeah.
So I love that.
You know my mom. My mom is crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? My mom is crazy. So like to say this is funny, but chaos. I thrive in chaos.
Okay.
And I think as an entrepreneur, there's nothing but chaos, right?
Literally.
So I know we'll get into that, but that's definitely a scenario and a trait that followed with me for sure.
Nice. Now you went through your time with the CP Stars as you've finally been exposed to some higher level baseball. So, let's take the story further a couple years where we're getting close to high school. Now, CP Stars you got exposed to at a very, very young age.
Yeah.
So how did that prepare you going into high school? And on top of that, did, seeing this higher level of talent, did baseball influence your decision going towards high school?
It's a good question. The answer is yes, right? So I was really stuck between Christ the King, St. Francis Prep, and McClancy.
Oh wow,
Right.
I don't know that.
How don't you know that he was trying to get me to McClancy? Him, Chris Jordan, which is another person we played with, and Keith was another person we played with. So I was familiar with them. So it was kind of pulling me that way.
Yeah,
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Wow, that would have been crazy.
But the main thing is, do I gotta say it? There ain't no girls there. You know what I mean? Ain't no girls there. So I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. You know what I mean? Or else if there were girls there, I probably would have went. Right? So I said, there's no girls there. I don't think I can go there and be there for 4 years for real.
Not as bad as people think.
Yeah, that's a fact. I went to an all-boys school. It's really not as bad.
I couldn't picture it though. You know what I mean?
I hear that.
And then Christ the King, I was getting recruited for basketball when I was in CEO, CYO. But their baseball program was awful. And we spanked them every single time we played them, right?
Yeah.
And when I was in 8th grade, my CYO basketball coach was also an assistant for St. Francis Prep.
Okay.
So he brought us to a basketball practice when I was in 8th grade at Prep. And I fell in love with the school.
Yeah.
Like walking through it, I fell in love with the colors and everything. So they had a leg up. And then I went to all the open houses and stuff like that. But I remember talking about the baseball program with the people at Prep. The varsity coach has been there. He actually just passed away. He was there for 40 plus years.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Right? Old dude, Brother Rob. He was there, well respected. He was a legend. And their baseball program was consistently good.
That's a
Yeah.
Right?
That's a fact.
Their basketball program was like, hit or miss.
Yeah.
It ended up being really good when I was there, thank God.
Jordan effect.
Yeah, a little. And then, so the baseball, I was like, all right, well, it's a good school. It's in a beautiful area. There's girls. The basketball's solid. And the baseball program is good. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take that step. I'm gonna take that step in. But when I got there, I was not worried about the intensity at all. I assumed that it was gonna be less than what we went through.
Really?
Yes, because I don't know if you remember when we were with Nelson, the dude had us literally with the former Navy SEAL, like training and shit like that. Just like work, not even baseball. Just
this is work.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just straight work, right?
We're like
So
13, 14.
So at that point, I really didn't think that there was anything I hadn't seen.
Right.
And that was the case, honestly. That was the case. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, they did things a different way. We worked our ass off.
Right.
But it didn't exceed what I already went through as a fucking 7th grader. You know what I mean?
And we traveled a lot. Bro, we went to
Traveled a lot.
Domination, to Sports at the Beach.
I can imagine.
Game.
Baseball
Bro,
heaven, probably.
we drove to Perfect Game, right? From here, bro, to Perfect
Drove
Game.
to Perfect
Spent
Game?
there a week. We spent there a week. And then from there, we drove to South Carolina and went to another Perfect Game and spent there a week. So think about that. Like, as 13 and 14-year-olds, being in that environment where we're traveling cross country, right?
Right.
Of course, that's going to prepare you for that next level. Where, as Jordan's saying, like, this is light, compared to what we just went through. Especially, bro, we're playing almost 100 games a year.
Yeah, it was.
That's
it was
like
crazy.
MLB status.
And in less time. If you think about it, because you only get the summer.
Double headers, triple headers.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yo, triple headers was crazy. What you playing till since 8 in the morning?
Yeah. Crazy as hell, right? So like when I went in there, I wasn't thinking that I was gonna walk into something I hadn't seen before. I remember Nelson. We played a terrible game one day, scorching hot, made us run. Eight people, including myself, just throwing up, and I can hear him. Good. Good. Not even like, all right, let's wrap it up. Good. Keep going. You know what I mean? So like going into this Catholic high school too, I'm like, it's not. It could be the same, but it ain't gonna be worse, and I could handle that. You know what I mean? So when I went into that, I was fully prepared. I thought I was going to be the best player. Like I went in with that mindset.
Yes.
We were good every single year, and honestly, choosing that school was probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
Really?
Yeah. School was amazing.
So being at prep, can you like highlight some moments where you're like, oh, like this, like I may have a future in baseball? Because a lot of people don't know how good you were in basketball too.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to highlight that.
I didn't even know he played basketball.
Yeah, bro. I'm talking about he's probably better in basketball than baseball. From my perspective, it's crazy to say.
Those athletes are always scary. Athletes like you, they two sport athletes. They're nice in the sport that you know them for, but then you're like, nah, this isn't his main sport. His main sport is this, and you see him like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I think for me it was just like baseball was more realistic.
Okay,
right?
Talk to that. What do you mean by being more realistic?
So I think in the basketball sense, and the league that I'm in like the Catholics league in New York City is the best league there is in basketball. So you're going against some like Jose Alvarado. Played against him.
Yeah.
Who was the other cat that I played against? A bunch of people that are in the NBA right now that I was playing against when I was in high school.
Even Isaiah Whitehead.
Whitehead.
He's older, but he went to King. But he's one of those guys. He played with the Nets. Like
I was at the time 6 foot, 150 pounds, guarding like dude 7'1". You know what I mean? Like I was straight out of algebra. Like, you know what I mean? Like crazy shit, bro. And it really made you realize, like, damn, yo. But I held my weight, and I was always one of the best players in the city every single year. But I know there's another level. Me being at the time 160, 6'2", I'm a point guard, really, like in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the speed of a point guard. I played like a big man, right?
Yeah.
So it just wouldn't have translated. Baseball, I'm more pro, right? 6'2" is a normal height, right? It's a good, healthy height.
Mm-hmm.
I was a power hitter, even though I was skinny as fuck. I was a great hitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that translates way more.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
I like that.
In terms of, what was the question again?
So what moments that you like, a few moments in high school that you had that was like, yo, I think I have a future when it comes to baseball. Cause I brought up the basketball thing because it's tough. Cause I've been in the position where it's like you got to choose between basketball and baseball and really focus on a sport, and it's tough. I mean, you're 14, 15, having to choose between two games that you love that you've played for almost your whole life, right? So what was like those few moments in high school that like, oh wow, like this is what I do it for, and I actually may have a future in this?
Well, I thought right away, not to sound like an ass, but I was head and shoulders, like just better than everyone else in terms, especially like on the offensive side. You know what I mean? I remember at the award ceremony after our freshman year, they counted our stats, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I wound up batting like 556 or something like that. Right? So at that point, I was like, damn, that's and everyone was like 278. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like, that's a big difference. But then as I see, like, what I enjoyed was putting fear into the other team. Like, I like being that guy going up to the plate, and the coach is like,
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, send them back. So when I saw that every single time, and you could see how around the league the word spreads. Right? Like when for a team that I didn't even play against yet, and the coach is coming out, right? Like he doesn't even know, but he must have heard.
Yep.
Right? So like those moments where I felt like I had great teammates, very talented people, but I felt like I was just on a different level, right? And the fact that I was able to hold my own with someone like Chris, who is, you see Chris right now? He was built like that when he was like 13 years old.
I remember I played against him.
He was built like that when he was like 13, just smoking ball.
Yeah.
Right? Like he was another one. Coach is like, nah, push it back, right? So when you're around other talented people like that, and you hold your own and you exceed, right? Because on our lineup, he's batting second, I'm batting third or fourth. So obviously, like I'm a focal point.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this, and then high school, you're batting third or fourth. So at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm at a different level, and I want to see how far I could take this.
Oof. I like that. I like that. So now, since you decided that you want to take it to the next level, this is I could say what, like 17, 18, maybe even
Yeah,
younger?
15, 16.
15, 16. Okay, so then walk us through. Now you're already saying like, all right, I want to take this a little bit more serious. What did you start to do as far as like a recruitment process? Do you remember going through like a recruitment process, doing, showcases? Because for some of the viewers, if you guys have never played a sport or anything like that, the recruitment process is very, very tough. It's vigorous. It is draining and everything. You're going to showcases, you're making videos, you're doing all of this. So just speak on like, you finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna take this serious. Did you do the showcase? How was all of that time
Yeah, I
like?
hated that shit, to be honest with you.
What's the showcase for everybody who's
Okay.
not watching? Yeah.
So basically, what a showcase is exactly what it sounds like. It showcases what you can do in your respected position. So if you're a pitcher, they're gonna have you pitch. If you're a position player, they're gonna hit you ground balls. You're gonna field. You're gonna hit. You're gonna basically show what you can do, run, all of that. So for us as athletes, it's very, very important for us to go to showcases because this is how we get our exposure not only to colleges but to potential scouts or even pro leagues outside of maybe like MLB or something like that. So
Yeah.
that's just a little background of what showcase is.
Yeah. So I definitely went to one or two. I even uploaded I had a fucking highlight reel
yeah, I
put
remember
together
that
and
shit
put
up.
on a site. I don't remember what it was called.
I know the site.
Yeah, but I went to some showcases. Again, I didn't enjoy being there because it was almost like an ego thing. I was like, yo, you guys don't know me yet? You know what I mean? That's how I felt. And but I went there and I did two and I killed it just because again, I wasn't a big defensive guy, even though I was I was a good defender. I was a great hitter.
Yeah.
Right. I really was. Even at 160, I'm smoking the ball 400 feet, just contact, all parts of the field. I was just a great hitter. I had that skill. So I did do that. I got some colleges interested. But really the first time I started seeing colleges come was I guess just through the grapevine in New York, right? So the Adelphi University coach started coming. I actually went to a summer camp when I was like 6 years old, and he was the one running it. So it was like a weird connection, right? Another college I forget, regular like Queens College and stuff. And then I had a Marlin Scout come, and then I had a Tiger Scout come, right? So at that point, I really didn't care about the colleges. I really didn't.
Big time,
Yeah. I'm like, yo, I just need to impress these. I really wasn't even thinking about the colleges. I was like, let me just impress these
Scouts,
right? And they would come to some of the batting cages I was at. Even I'm like, how the fuck do you even know? You know what I mean? But they had the connection.
Absolutely.
So they're coming there, they're watching there, speaking to my father, my mother, my coaches, and stuff like that. But that was the main thing. I did go to the showcases. One went well. One I was just like, yo, I didn't want to be here. But really, most of the recruiting stuff just came from word of mouth. Like, yo, come check this dude out.
Yeah. So then, right. So that's like junior, senior year. So
Yes.
how does that year go for you from the transition from being in high school to either potentially getting drafted or now, looking at colleges so that you can set yourself up to get drafted?
Yeah. So freshman year went well.
Freshman year
Of high school.
Okay.
Sophomore year, I got called up to varsity, but I was out basically the whole year. Funny story. I was out almost the whole year. We make it to the playoffs. I haven't batted one bat the whole
Season.
the whole season. They called me off the bench to face who? Nicky.
No.
Yeah, they called me off the bench to face Nicky.
That's when he was at Stepanak?
No,
Or no,
Spellman.
Spellman, yeah. Junior year went amazing. I think I batted over 500 again junior year. And then senior year went even better. I think I batted over 550 my senior year as well. And we were just good, We made a deep playoff run. We never won it all, but we made a deep playoff run every single time. And at that point, I'm like, all right, cool. I want to get drafted out of high school. Because that shit sounds cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cool.
Drafted out of high school.
I really didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to go through the school shit again, stuff like that. But basically, one game, right? The Tiger Scout comes, and I go 4 for 4, right? And the fourth one, and this is against our rival too, Holy Cross. It's still Holy Cross against Holy Cross. And the fourth hit was I roped some shit into right center for a double for 2 guys to score, tie the game up. And I knew at that point, I'm like, yo, I impressed this dude. This dude is 100% impressed, right?
Right.
After the game, he's talking to my father and I. And basically he's saying like, listen, like you can get drafted out of high school. Like we're interested, but it's going to be in a very late round. Right now, again, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
But getting drafted in a late round, you ain't making shit.
Yeah.
You're probably playing in some fucking cornfield, right? Like on the buses, like nonstop. I'm like, I don't know if that's the best for me, right? So Adelphi just had like 8 dudes drafted the year before and 5 dudes drafted the year before that. So I'm like, all right, well, they're obviously on high D2. Let me go there and improve my draft stock, try to get drafted at a higher rate.
Yeah.
Make more money, you know,
Smart.
put myself into a better position.
Yeah.
So that's what we wound up doing. I wound up going to choosing Adelphi.
Okay.
And, you know, and that's kind of where shit started to go down.
Which segues right into my next question, where did you have your fall from grace where you realized that baseball might just be a dream and it was no longer now going to be something you could actively pursue?
Yeah. So for me, what I realized, and I didn't know this as I'm going through life, right? I love basketball. Basketball is my passion, right?
Okay.
I was just really fucking good at baseball. I love the baseball, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't passionate about it.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
So really what started to happen was, and the thought process started my senior year, actually. I actually stopped. I didn't play basketball my senior year just to focus on baseball. I felt like I owed it. I didn't want to do that. I felt like I owed it to my dad, right? But again, I'm not subconsciously thinking this right now. I'm just acting, right? I don't really know it's because of that. I'm just acting, okay? And then what would happen was practices would get rained out, games would get rained out, and I'd be excited, right? I'd be happy. And my thought started to go like, I don't know if you're supposed to feel like that with something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Right? So like that was the first thing that really went through my mind. I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's great.
And this is freshman year of college.
This is senior year.
Oh, okay.
High school,
Okay.
right? Where I was like, yo, I'm trying to go to prom. I'm not trying to you know what I mean? Like
priorities.
That's what I was trying to do. And I'm like, yo, I don't know, because I never was like that for basketball. You know? I was never like that with girls. Like, I don't want no girls around me today. You know, I was never like that.
Right.
It was just that we're baseball. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably not a great sign. But again, I felt like I owed it to my dad. I just kept pushing forward and pushing forward. And then when I get into Adelphi, beautiful campus, beautiful school, beautiful area.
Yeah.
100%.
Right. I had some of my boys from high school that went there, so that was cool. I felt burnt out at that time, right? Again, we can't come from playing 100+ games in the summer to nonstop practicing, right? My dad was very stern on that. You know what I mean? So I felt a little burnt out. Plus the thoughts that were going through my mind senior year when shit would get canceled, I'd be excited. And then I just didn't like I did not like college. Okay. And
What part?
Like, the education part.
Okay. So you're an athlete student. You were an athlete student.
Yeah, right. So obviously I went there. Yeah, they gave me a scholarship, right? It just happens to be a good school as well, but they gave me a scholarship. And I didn't like the people there. I couldn't resonate with the people there. I went from a team, Spanish and black kids, right? Then high school, white and Spanish kids, but from Queens. You know, a dude from Queens, a dude from Queens.
Same
right?
thing.
And then you go to Long Island, it's a different breed out there, right?
Culture shock.
Yeah, I remember someone coming up to me, was like, yo, bro, do you hear that new song that just came out? And I was like, what song? He was like, yeah, it's Trap Queen from Fetty Wap. And that should have been out for like a year and a half at that point. And I was like, damn, bro, I don't know if I could, you know, resonate and connect with these people.
Yeah.
So we were practicing and stuff like that before school started, right? Like you attend early and stuff like that. And I just wasn't feeling it at all, you know? And it really, I sat down one day. I literally walked around the campus till like midnight. And I finally admitted to myself, I was fighting it back for so long. I finally admitted to myself, I'm like, I don't think I love baseball. I think I'm just doing this because I don't want to let down my dad, my mom, the people that know that I'm trying to make it in baseball, right? And I had that conversation with myself, and then I decided, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna give it a rest.
How was that? Because I know it's tough. I know me and JP spoke about it on our first episode where we feel like we're letting a whole community down. Because I can even, and I want to shout out Sam and Nat, Jordan's parents, you know, who they did so much for me just for years growing up on the Stars and things like that. And parents like that sacrifice so much of their time, their money, right, everything in between to help us live this dream that, you know, once again, it was just a dream at one point. But you know, so I definitely want to, you know, shout out them. But it's tough, right? It's tough to.
And one thing that I also want you guys to, like, my viewers to look and realize, last week we had Zach on the show, and he made his college choice based on the school that he would go to if he wasn't an athlete. And you saw when he told his story, how when he did his transition that he had to step away from the sport, it was a lot easier for him, and he was able to stay where he was because he made the conscious choice to go to a school that he genuinely loved.
Yeah.
People like Jordan, Cam, myself, I could say, when you make a decision solely off the sport, you're going to go through what Jordan went through, where you're sitting down and you're looking around in the campus like, I don't belong here. These people don't resonate with me. They don't talk like me. They don't think like me. They don't have to look like me, but we're just not on that same wavelength. So, you know, it is really tough. You know, you guys are going to see that it's really two sides of a coin. When you pick the school that you want, if you weren't an athlete versus if you pick it just because you're an athlete, you do have some struggle and some strife.
100%. And that was the big thing for me. You know, I'm like, yo, my parents put a lot into it. Like, my dad was doing shit he wasn't supposed to, he was bringing money in he wasn't supposed to, just to fund like some of the stuff we were doing. So I felt like I really, really owed it. But I hit a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm just not happy. And I was thinking, like, we're playing 100+ games in the summer, and major leaguers play 162. I'm like, do I want to do that? I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Good point.
I don't think so. So I finally admitted it to myself. It was tough. It was tough. My dad wasn't happy. My mother wouldn't talk to me for a few days.
Yeah, that
what was that conversation like?
Tough.
It was tough. It was very, very tough. Yeah. Like, it was just disappointment. And that's the last thing you want to do from a parent.
Absolutely.
You know, is disappoint your parent. My mom, she don't really get disappointed. She gets angry, right? And she was upset. She wouldn't talk to me for a few days even. So, like, going through that was like, fuck. You know, even my friends, I told my boys, yeah, you know, I'm done with baseball. And they were like, yeah, but when are you gonna start up again? Right? Like, they didn't believe it. They didn't fucking resonate with them. Like,
right.
no, like, I'm done. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a tough time, and I pushed that decision out longer than I probably should have. And I told the coach, yeah, I'm like, listen, I'm done. I always tell this story. I told all my I emailed all my professors, and this was like 4 days into the semester. 4 days. I said, listen, I have a family emergency. Yeah,
Freshman? Oh.
First semester, freshman year. This is like 4 days into my college, right? I emailed all my professors. I said, look, I have a family emergency. I won't be attending any classes going forward, right? And some of them were like, oh, like, I hope all is well. And like a week later, they're like, yo, all right, where are you? You know what I mean? And I spent all day, I mean all fucking day, playing basketball. Yeah, playing basketball, which I loved. And even the kids on the basketball team there were like, yo, you should walk on. And I'm like, nah, you know, I think I'm moving in a different direction. Or I would be at the library. And at that point, I started studying, like, looking up like the CEO of Dick's Sporting Goods and Scott Boras and like the business side of things now. And I think that was the first switch. And even with all my classes, I told all my professors, I'm not coming back. You know, I didn't see another inside of a classroom except business class. That was the only class that I went to the whole semester.
Now, where do you think that comes from, to just, like, you know, go from being an athlete to you? It's apparent, you know, that Jordan doesn't like school. Like, the schooling thing is not for Jordan. But, you know, where did the interest for business like come in, to where you just like, you know, what is the CEO of Dick's doing, or who is Scott Boras? Like, what dragged you in that direction?
Yeah, well, if you have dreams of being a pro baseball player, what comes with pro baseball players? Riches. Comes with money.
Amen.
So it was tough for me to transition from the thought process, because everyone around me is telling me, even people that were in the leagues, like Gabby Martinez, is like, yo, you could do it. You know, you're that good of a hitter that you could do it. So me thinking like, yo, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, to now what? I have to get a job and make 60 grand a year or some shit like that. I'm like, I'm like, I can't do that.
Right.
It didn't sit right in my soul. So the first thing was like, all right, well, let me try to go into something business-wise. I was at college for sports management. You know, they put you through bullshit classes, like all this shit that has nothing to do with it. I'm like, I'm not going to that shit. I'll go to the business class. And that's the only one I went to the whole semester.
That's funny.
But that's really what drove me to that is like, I don't want to get a job, so I don't want to work for someone, and I want to make a lot of money. So those two things usually come into what? Business.
Amen.
Right? So I'm like, all right, let me start looking into the business side of things.
Now, one question that I definitely want to ask is, do you think, like, as you being a former athlete, and I feel like I know your answer, but we're designed to be business owners and everything, because Cam had made a point on the first episode that he had said, I thought I was gonna get paid to play a game, so do you think that the whole idea of wanting to play baseball did it grow from you wanted to get paid for a lifestyle, or it was just, the sport that actually drew you, which I kind of feel like
I think it started as a sport and then it transitioned into trying to make a lot of money in the lifestyle and being a superstar. Because like coming up, what's cooler than being a baseball player or a sports, professional sports player or an entertainer?
Yeah.
Right? Like those are like the coolest things.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously with that comes a lot of money and the lifestyle and stuff like that. So it started out as I love the sport. And then as I went on, it definitely transitioned. And if you're chasing something for, money, life, it's usually not gonna work out. Like you have to be passionate about it. You have to have a why that is actually passionate about driving you into that direction.
For sure.
And I had it, but not enough to make me passionate about baseball.
Yeah. So then as far as freshman year, you tell your professors, listen, I'm not coming in. Like basically, right?
4 days in.
So what was that transition like, right? From freshman year, like what did those next 3 years look like in college?
Yeah, so I was done after the first semester, obviously. Right? The first semester I'm done, I'm out. So now I have no job, no college experience, no plan B.
So you dropped out.
I dropped out, bro. You crazy? I wasn't staying at that shit. I dropped out, right? So I dropped out. And like I said, no plan B at all, because the whole goal the whole time was like, yo, I'm making it to the league. That's it.
Plan
right?
B's baseball, plan C's baseball, plan D.
That is it. Right. That was the only shit. So now I'm like, damn, I really have no idea what I'm gonna do. So honestly, I fell into a very, very, very deep depression where I also felt like my father was still disappointed in me.
Yeah.
My mother was disappointed, didn't want to talk. The first 3 days after I told them, I was going out to bars, getting fucked up, sleeping at friends' houses because I didn't even want to be home because it was so like
The tension.
hostile.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
The tension.
So I was really doing nothing all day, but going to the gym in the morning, and I was staying home the rest of the day, just doing nothing. Right. And that's even worse for your mental health. So like now it's getting even worse. I'm in a deeper pit and I'm like, shit. And my dad is very, very big on work and not being lazy. Right. Like he's the type, and so is my mother, is like, yo, wake up early. If you're napping, that's lazy. If you're sleeping in late, that's lazy. If you're sitting on the couch doing nothing, that's lazy. Right. So that's what I was doing now. And it didn't make him feel good. And I knew it. I could feel it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, and this goes on for months. And I'm like, damn, all right, I gotta do something, because all I was doing was going to the gym. They wanted me to go back to baseball, go back to school, get a job. I was like, yeah, I really don't want to do that right now. And then I'm like, all right. So one day I flip on my laptop and I Google, how to make $1 million per year. Not even like how to make 7 figures, how to make $1 million per year, like exactly 1 million. And the first thing that popped up was real estate. And
that's
in that time as well, I'm seeing like the $1 million listing show. I don't know if you guys.
Yes.
And I'm seeing them make like huge commissions. I'm like, yeah, that's my type of shit, right? So literally, I'm like, well, I guess it's real estate, right? So I go and I start applying for the real estate school, right? In the city.
What year is this?
This is 2016, I believe. Okay. Yeah, 2016. So I graduated high school in 2015, done with college in 2015. It went real quick, right? And at that time, for some reason, I grew into this like social anxiety. Like I did not, like I'd rather go to fucking war in Iraq than do an icebreaker in front of people, right? Like I did not want to speak in front of people. Yeah. So I did the real estate class online, but my mom wanted me out the house, right? So I told her, yeah, I'm gonna go in person. I'm gonna do the in-person class.
Right.
So I was doing it online, but I had to leave the house every day. So I was taking a train into Manhattan every single day. I love the city. Right.
Yeah.
I love Manhattan. It inspires the shit out of me, the buildings, right? Like, you know.
He just be.
So I go in there just out
Okay.
of pure inspiration. And I'm going to the public library every single day, and I'm taking my classes. You know, I wind up going to take the exam. I passed the exam, get my real estate license, and then it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So, you know, as like I'm saying, I'm watching this $1 million listing stuff, everyone in nice suits and stuff like that. I hang my license with a broker. I show up, I don't even know what this guy looks like. I show up to a listing, and this dude's in like a fucking Yankees beanie and like some bummy ass clothes, and it just wasn't the experience that I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of telling me what it takes. So you got to do rentals first and stuff like that. I'm like, it's really not the lifestyle I wanted. And as I'm going through that, I found what wholesaling was,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wholesaling real estate.
And what is wholesaling? Just for our
Wholesaling real estate
viewers?
is basically being a middleman for a transaction. So you're getting the property under contract at a discount. You're finding a buyer for that property or for that contract that's actually going to fix it up and flip it. But you're selling that contract at a higher price than what you got it for. So if I get the property under contract for $100 grand and I sell it to a buyer for $120, I make that $20,000 right there.
Amen.
That sounds nice to me.
And I said, wow, all right, that actually sounds a little bit better. So I started moving over to that side as well. And that's kind of how that transition took place.
How was the real estate exam? I'm just curious.
That shit was hard. One of them was easy. And
How many do you have to take?
Yeah.
Just one of them.
yeah, two. So
Okay.
one of them is like a school exam, and then the other one is the state exam.
Okay.
What was it? The school one was easy, and the state one was a little tougher. So
What made the state one a little bit tougher than the school one? If you
it is just a lot of more math questions. So I'm good at math, thank God. But if you're not,
wow.
it
Okay.
fucks you up a little bit. You know what I mean? So
I didn't know that it came with a lot of math questions. I thought it was
Yeah.
more just like understanding terminology and stuff,
Yeah,
like almost like with with the bar exam, like when Zach was talking about it. Like, it's more based on what you're gonna be doing, not really numbers.
Part of it. But then listen, this is why real estate agents suck ass, most of them, right? Is because like it doesn't really prepare you for what you're actually going to be doing in real life, like the
Right.
negotiations and the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, the second one was definitely like more math, more complex questions that you would have to break down.
Now, do you feel like, you going into real estate and like doing this now, do you feel like your athletic background helped you when you were going forward and, taking the exam, or just even like understanding or having that mentality going forward into real estate? You think baseball helped you being an athlete?
Yeah, definitely.
In what way?
Definitely. One, the work ethic. What right away, like transfers over is easy. You know what I mean? It's a different type of work because like baseball is actually a perfect fucking example for this because it's physical and it's mental. A lot, right? It's a lot. And there's other sports like that, but baseball is a lot. Okay. And with business, it's less physical, it's more mental, right? So you have that and you take that across with you. I thought that was helped me a lot. And then also, which is the most important thing, is the fact that you can work at something with no results, just like you would in baseball, right? So I could take 1,000 at bats in a batting cage the day before and then go 0 for 4 the next day.
Yeah.
For
right?
4 Ks.
Yeah, for 4 Ks. And guess what? I may be on a slump for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it may take some time to actually come out of that slump and see my work. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. And even playing 100 games and trying to get to a goal at the end with the team, right? It's like you're practicing, you're playing, you're practicing, you're playing for an end goal that you're not even seeing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with being a business owner and entrepreneur, is working day in and day out where the work is tough. It may feel like, none of this shit is contributing to anything or pushing me forward, but understanding there's a long-term vision. And I always just say, like, keep the vision clear and the actions daily, right?
Ooh,
Keep the
I like
visions
that.
clear and the actions daily.
Ooh, that's
So long-term vision, don't let anything deter you from that, right? And make sure no matter how you feel, right? No matter what happened yesterday, last week, or last month, you're showing up and putting in the work. I think that all came from baseball, honestly, because there's so many failures in baseball, bro. You know what I mean? There's
mostly
fucking
failing.
there's a stat error, you know, where you strike out, you're gonna get out more than you get hit. So it's
even the best players. I mean, bro, you hit 300, 330 in the whole season. You're a Hall of Fame athlete, but that's like hitting 300 is literally missing 7 times or getting out 7 times. So.
And they looking at you like you God.
Yeah, right.
Yo, you hitting 330?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And just to put in perspective, like one thing that you said that I love is that like we're working for something that's not guaranteed. Right. So we're working for a goal, whether it's, you know, baseball, like we're grinding day in and day out, and it's not guaranteed that we're gonna get drafted. Entrepreneurship, same thing, whether it's you're starting your business, you're getting your real estate license. You don't, it's not a guarantee. And that's why I feel like people who don't understand athletes, especially entrepreneurs, will look at us like we're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you don't have a guaranteed paycheck where you don't get paid the 1st and the 15th or every 2 weeks. Like that, you know, but for us, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. So
I wanted to ask you, talk to us about how was that first real estate deal? Like, what were you feeling? Like, you know, because most people, they hear real estate and, you know, you think about getting into it. But then when you finally see that contract, you start seeing numbers, you start seeing percentages. What were you feeling? What were you thinking? Were you going through like imposter syndrome to where you're just like, yo, am I even supposed to be here? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, that's a good ass question. So when I got my real estate license, I kind of put it to the side right away, and I started trying to do wholesaling. Now, wholesaling, one of the main things is marketing, right? You have to find the sellers that actually want to sell to you at a discount. So I'm doing a lot of research. I'm a big action taker. Like, I'd rather just fuck up and, you know what I mean, and just learn the lesson quick.
Yep.
So I send out like 800 pieces of mail. Mail is basically mail that's asking them if they want to sell their house. If so, call me.
like handwritten?
Handwritten. I was for years. I was handwriting thousands, right, with the envelopes, fucking licking the stamps and putting on.
Oh my
for
God.
2 years probably. And I got one call out of the 800 letters, and the guy was like, "Oh, do you buy land?" And at the time, I'm like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" I had no idea what he was talking about. You could buy land? I didn't even know. And I'm like, "No, sorry." Boom, and that was it. That's all I got from it. So I'm like, "All right, well, that did not work at all." So what I did was, I found a job, because I never had an on the books job ever in my life. Okay.
That's the athlete thing. I think.
Yep. Thank you for saying it, Cam.
I don't think we really have time because, right? We just spoke about that. We play 100 games a season.
Yeah.
The majority of them in the summer. So most of my friends, once they got of age, were working little jobs, you know, minimum wage jobs. We really couldn't because we had to spend so much time on our sport to make sure that we make it to college and excel, and then obviously work on, you know, playing in the big leagues.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It went from there, and I'm meeting up with some of my high school boys at fucking Chili's. No joke. I'm like, yo, I have this business. You know, we gotta put money in together. We can market to these sellers and shit. And they're like, nah, bro, you're crazy. You know what I mean? They're like, they didn't want any part of it at all. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just keep trying to do this myself. Had no money, bro. I'm dead broke. I always tell a story like, me and my girl were going to pumpkin picking for Halloween, and the lady's like, yeah, the pumpkins are $20, but we only take cash. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go to the bank real quick. I didn't have $20. Right? My girl had to pay for the fucking pumpkins, right? So it was that bad. So I'm like, all right, I need to go get a job. So I found something. I'm going to apply for like pharmacy delivery, all this shit.
Stuff where people not over your head.
Yeah.
I know it. I knew it.
And I'm getting rejected from all of them, bro. Like, nah, you're good. I'm like, damn, bro. I can't even get this job.
Yeah.
So finally I find someone on Craigslist that's a real estate investor, and they want me to hand out flyers for them. So I'm like, all right, cool. It's $75 per week, okay?
That's nuts.
And I was working basically still like 35 to 40 hours, like a full-time job of getting paid $75 a week. But disrespectful. Yeah, that was some VA shit. Right? But my idea was, if I could get mentored by this dude, then it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
So I was willing to bite the bullet. So this guy has me in the hood, bro, in Gun Hill, Bronx, Far Rock, Canarsie, all the spots by you don't want to really be walking in. I'm walking in all fucking day, and I'm putting flyers around, hanging bandit signs, whatever, right? I'm not really learning much like I thought I was going to. This guy's very stingy. So he goes away. He goes to Israel. He comes back. I'm not getting paid within this time for like 8 weeks that he's gone.
Wow.
He's like, I'm going to pay you in full when I get back. He gets back. He doesn't want to pay me.
Of course.
Okay, right? He doesn't want to pay me. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck you. I quit, right? And then I find another job like 3 days later, a delivery job, finally in the city, which I was happy about because I love the city. So I'm walking. I don't give a fuck. I'll take the train. So I'm walking, and he's like, yeah, just bring a little duffel bag. It's just little packages that you got to carry and walk around and shit like that. When I tell you, these things were fucking 150 pounds. Like the boxes over there, heavy ass shit, right? And I have to walk 25, 30 city blocks for it.
City blocks.
City blocks. I'm like, bro, this is not what I signed up for at all. So I did the first day, and then I remember vividly the second day I get into the city and I'm waiting for like my first pickup to begin. And I'm sitting in like a random ass little park, probably close to here, honestly. And I remember sitting like nearly almost in tears because I was just so unhappy with the situation and telling myself, you know, I'm not doing this anymore. This is going to be the last day that I do this. I'll do whatever it takes to make my real estate stuff successful. I'll fucking hang bandit signs. I'll write 1,000 letters of mail, whatever I need to do. I'm going to make it work. So I did that final day. I quit the day after, 2 days on the job. That was it. I was out. This wasn't for me. Yeah. And, that was it. And from then on, what I started to do is just look on Craigslist. I had no more money. Look on Craigslist for people that were selling their house and stuff like that. It took me around 10 months to get my first deal. And it was for $2,000 only, right? But that shit felt like $2 million to me. I remember going to pick up the check. I had so many failed deals before then that I thought were deals that weren't, that I didn't even believe it was real until I went and picked it up. And even when I picked it up, I said, yo, is this shit better not bounce, right? I'm like, bro, I don't even know if this is really real. And I cashed it, and it went through, and it was one of the happiest moments still of my life. I went home to my mom, because at this point, my parents were still like very unhappy, like, yo, go get a job, go back to school. Like, they didn't see what I was doing really. And I showed my mom, and she was very happy. And I don't even think she saw, but I'm like lip quivering, like holding back tears because she hugged me. And that was, like I said, that $2,000 felt like 2 million.
Yeah.
And it was just a proof of concept that I was like, at that point on, I'm like, let's run it. I did it. Let's go.
Now, what do you think that first deal, if you could think back now, what did that first deal teach you?
To keep going. That was it. I mean, what was going to change if I stopped? I still wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Right. So like all I had to do was continue to show up, even if you don't see the results that day, right? Is to continue to be present. Like I said, I don't give a fuck what happened last week, yesterday, last month, the last deal that fell through. If you continue to show up, you cannot lose.
Amen.
You will not fail. I don't give a fuck how long it takes you. Some people, it takes 30 days to get their first deal. Me, it took 10 months. I don't know what I would be doing today if I gave up within those 10 months.
Yeah.
I really do not, right? So the main thing it taught me was just like, yo, even the days you don't feel like it, you wake up depressed and sad. There was multiple times throughout that, I'm like, yo, I'm going to quit. You know what I mean? But as long as you keep going, bro, I mean, it all works out in the end.
So then where does like your first deal, you go from, taking 10 months, right, to get that first deal of 2K. I'm curious to know how you go from that to now you're running a 7-figure operation, right? Like where do you start really, like the ball starts rolling for you? Like,
yeah, that's a good question. So it took me not longer, but it took me another 5 months to get my second deal. I was dealing with some fucking cracked out house with like 10 tenants in it, literally crackheads. Like they were housing like druggies, right? And still, like a year and a half after, it really wasn't going well. Like the year after that, I always tell us, I made a total of $7,500 whole year.
So in 3 years,
2017 is when the end of 2017 was when I was like, all right, I'm going to start this on my own. So 2018 was my first full year.
Okay.
I made $10,000, I believe. I think it was 10 grand. No, I'm sorry. The first year was 7,500. The second year was $5,000. So I went backwards. Right? So I'm like, wow, this is fucking awful. And it's weird how this happens. I got a property under contract and I found a buyer. The buyer put a deposit in for $5,000. Now, if the buyer doesn't close, I get that $5,000. Okay. So he ended up not closing. In the meantime, I meet one of my buddies, who's a buddy now, who was way more well-established in the real estate game, but didn't know like the marketing side of wholesaling. So we kind of teamed up, and he was like, yeah, let's split money, let's put it together. He doesn't know I'm fucking dead broke. So this is like the end of 2019 going into 2020.
Okay.
And I remember, I think I still have a note on my phone where I wrote like, yo, you're taking a huge risk right now. You're putting up all your money to make this work. If it doesn't work, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is the last decade of you not being a millionaire.
Ooh.
Right. And I put my that $5,000, the buyer doesn't close. So I get it. I put all $5,000 into marketing. Okay.
You never lose when you bet on yourself.
And we wound up getting 2 deals, one for 20 grand, one for 15 grand.
Woo.
Right. So it was 35 grand total split. I'm now at $17,500, which is like, bro, that was so much money to me. I was like, holy shit, it's like crazy. Yeah. And it just snowballed from there. So like I took that risk. We got those 2 deals. We did what we did. Again, we got some more deals, and it just kind of kept growing from there.
Yeah, but this is during the pandemic. So like how did you excel during that? Because I know a lot of people took hits. Some people were struggling. I mean, you saw businesses close down. So how does the
PPP loan?
so
no parts of that.
For the record. So how do you excel through that time? That was
so the beautiful thing about wholesaling, and it wasn't like that then. But I don't need to go see a house to make money on it. Right?
That's dope.
So before I even knew what doing deals remotely is, which is now my thing, I'm like, I was forced to do deals remotely. Like I was forced to just do deals from my crib. So I had to come up with basically a process to allow, because real estate agents were taking a hit. They couldn't do any open houses, showings. You couldn't be an interaction. So we were thriving. Like the wholesalers that knew how to do this virtual process were thriving. So honestly, didn't affect us at all. In fact, it actually brought us more business because everyone was home now. So everyone was answering the phone. Yeah, I do want to sell. I do want to sell. Specifically because the interest rates were low then. Remember, that was the time to buy. Like, if you didn't buy the house in 2020, fuck, you might have missed the boat.
Yeah, it was over for you.
So everyone's like, yeah, I'll sell. Yeah, I'll sell. So it was actually a storm of different things coming together to make this perfect combination for me to actually find success. So I don't know without COVID if it actually goes that well, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
So that plus the being able to do this virtually, again, was the perfect combination to allow us to still make a lot of money.
I like that. I like that. Can you walk us through a little bit what would doing a deal remotely kind of look like? Like,
Yeah, so my first remote deal was in South Jersey. Okay. And here's the difference between and why this is so fucking important. All right. I was getting leads in South Jersey. I'm talking Camden County, which is not a great place, first of all. And then it's like 3 hours away.
That's a fact.
And I used to drive all the way over there to go see a property, not knowing if it's a deal or not knowing if I'm going to make money.
Wow.
And I would go over there and sellers wouldn't answer the door, right? They wouldn't answer the phone, whatever. And I'd have to drive all the way back home. I just wasted 6 hours of my time, right? So I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So doing a deal remotely basically looks like you being at one place, whether the property is behind, around the block from you or on the other side of the country, still being able to, one, get the property under contract, right? Because there's different ways to run the numbers, no matter where the property is, run the numbers, see what the property is valued at. Once you know what the property is valued at, you make a discounted offer, okay? Now, I don't have to go sign the contract in person. I just send it via e-sign to the seller for them to sign. So still, I don't have to leave my house at all, okay? Now I have the contract. Now I got to go get pictures of the property, right? Which is where people usually get stuck up. Very easy. You can hire someone off Craigslist. You can reach out to a realtor. You can work with another local wholesaler over there, and they'll walk the property and they'll get pictures for you, right? Now they send it to you. Now you have the pictures without still leaving the house. Now you take those pictures and the deal and all the details and stuff like that, and you send it out to buyers. You can find buyers anywhere, Facebook groups, right? On Zillow, through agent referrals and things like that. You're emailing them the details. Still haven't had to leave your house, right? If they want the property, they go check it out. You schedule that with the seller. Hey, I have a partner that's coming to look at the property at 1 p.m., right? They go look at the property. They want to put in an offer. They want to buy it. Great. I e-sign them another contract. I got it for 100. I'm e-signing a contract for 125, right? He signs. Now I have both contracts. Still haven't left my house.
Still chilling.
Now I have those 2 contracts. I email them to the closing title company, the closing attorney, and they process the whole closing, and they either mail you a check or they wire it directly to your bank account, and you never need to leave your house.
Still in your robe and your slippers.
Still in your robe and your slippers. I swear to God, I've done shit in a fucking white beater and boxers. You know what I mean? At my dinner table.
How long are those those deals like take out, like that process? Like,
So that sounded like a lot,
yeah, that's why.
but you can get those closed in 14 days to 30 days.
Now, could you, for our viewers out there, for, you know, who are watching this, who might be interested in real estate and stuff like that, that they might not even have the capital, they might be in the position where you're in, you're like, yo, I'm dead broke, like, but I want to get, how could they get involved in this? How could they get started in something like this? Because I know that you did mention earlier in the show that you do mentor people and everything, so I feel like this kind of transitions into that.
That is a great question. I would recommend people kind of do what I did as well. Like partner with someone that maybe does have some extra money and you do all the work, right? Let them chill, maybe invest some of the money and you do all the work and finding deals, and then you guys can split it. But there's way more ways to get deals for free. Now, right? Like there's a site called PropWire where you can pull 10,000 records for completely free, right? Like that wasn't around when I was like in 2019.
Yeah.
You can make offers to for sale by owners on Zillow, right? Which is completely free. So the only thing that you have to understand is if you do not have money, you're gonna have to pay with time. Okay. Which is going to consist of making a lot of offers, talking to a lot of people, and it's going to take some time. You're not going to get a deal probably within the first 14, 30 days like someone would if they were paying for leads.
Yeah.
Right? So it's utilizing those strategies, but understanding, hey, this is going to take time and I got to show up and be consistent. For me, it was Craigslist. I was scraping Craigslist for sale by owners every single day, every day for 10 months until I found someone, right? And that's because I didn't have money to pay for leads. I had to pay with my time and my effort and my work ethic and stuff like that. So I think the quickest way is to partner with someone. Second quickest way is to make offers like for sale by owner, things of that nature. And third, like what I did, which is a crazy story, because I didn't have money, there was a site called REI, My REI Pro. And I think it still operates today.
Okay.
And what they do is they give you 1,000 free leads per trial, right? So what I was doing,
I already see it.
Multiple email
so what
plays.
I was doing was I was putting in multiple emails, credit cards, right? I pull a list, I'd skip trace it for basically very, very cheap, and I'd reach out to people. Fuck, that list didn't work. Mom, what's your email? What's your credit card? Let me. That didn't work. Yo, thought my sister. Yo, what's? And I think it was the fourth one I did, because I just didn't have the money. The fourth one I did, I got in touch with a seller that was in pre-foreclosure. The house was vacant and he was getting a divorce, right? So 3 levels of motivation for someone to want to sell that property.
And real quick, what is pre-foreclosure?
Pre-foreclosure is when,
understand.
is when you're about to lose the house to the bank because you're not making the mortgage payments, right? So this motherfucker wanted to sell, okay? And that deal winded up turning into, from a free list, winded up turning into $197,000 profit.
That's nuts.
About a year later.
That's nuts.
Oh my God.
Yep. I think I partnered with my guy. Bro. We bought the property for somewhere in the 2s. We put like 100 something into it, and then we sold it for mid 5s or something like that. And it all came from that free list.
That's nuts. And one thing I love, like, one, just about the podcast in general, but it just highlights the fact that like your work ethic, your grit, a bunch of stuff that you took from like your success in baseball, or what helped you succeed in baseball, basketball, just in general, you know, prior to the real estate stuff you showed. I mean, I can't even picture myself handwriting 1,000 pieces of mail, or going, you know, 10 months and only making 2,000 and thinking that feels like 2 million. Like
I was riding out at like 2 a.m. I used to make signs on computer, which is the stupidest shit, by the way, on computer paper, right? Like we buy houses, you know, like those signs. But I was making them on computer paper because I didn't have the money to pay for the actual signs. And I was going in at 2 a.m., putting them on people's houses, on phone poles and stuff like that. it wasn't about the method really, because if it rained,
You're
those
done. You're done.
those things are done. But it was about doing something
Yep.
every single day, just taking
Yep.
action. I couldn't sit there and be like, well, I just don't, I don't got the money. I'm like, no, listen, I'm gonna knock on doors. I'm going to scrape Craigslist. I'm going to put these signs up, right? So at that point I knew, like, as long as I'm doing daily actions, some's gotta hit. You know what I mean? I was at a point like I had nothing to lose regardless.
Yeah.
So it was like some's gotta hit.
Now, one thing that you definitely said that I really loved was that since I didn't have the money, I paid with my time.
Yeah.
And that's something that like we need to like really pay attention to and like take from, because not all the time you're going to have the finances to do it. So you have to find another way to provide value in the market. And sometimes providing your time is the best thing to do, because that is the most invaluable asset that we all have, our time. You're not going to get that back.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Fact.
I saw a quote actually last night. I forgot who said it, but she was like, "You're either gonna pay with your time or pay with your money, and only one you can't get back." I was like,
That's a
"Ooh."
bar.
That's because and don't get me wrong, I feel like all of us in this room can relate because we're entrepreneurs. Is that in the beginning we really don't have much money, or most of us don't, right?
Yeah.
And we have to pay with your time. But at
mhm.
some point, you really learn that your time is more valuable, or it really resonates that your time is more valuable. And then you start to what we call investing into mentors or investing into coaches, or just start at YouTube University, right? YouTube University is free, but find somebody who's living the life that you want to live. Like, so Jordan, for instance, like if you want to be a 7-figure real estate investor involved in wholesaling, and you were a former baseball player, but like, listen, I kind of want to get into real estate. It's the perfect person to look at. And even if you might not have any money to invest, maybe you spend some time on his YouTube channel. Maybe you spend some time on his Instagram page where he's breaking down a deal. And maybe just from even this podcast, right? Because it's free on YouTube,
Yeah.
you may take some nuggets from this and learn how to go to I think RIE Pro, or go to PropWire and learn how to put in multiple emails and find the deal. And that one deal can help you pay for mentorship that paves the way for the rest of your success. So, once again, you're either going to pay with your time or you're going to pay with your money, but only one you can get back.
Amen. So something you brought up, Cam, that I want to ask you, Jordan, that it kind of leads into the next portion of the conversation is well, one, how did you even get to the point where you started mentoring? But before you got there, did you yourself take on a mentor, and what was that like? And do you feel like it is something necessary that every entrepreneur should do?
Well, for that last part, 100%. I did not take on a mentor, which is why it took me
Ooh.
10 months to get this shit done.
Wow.
Right? Because I know for a fact, if I did, it would not have taken me 10 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to pay with my time. Right.
Mm.
I got to that point because I started posting my journey a lot, just like closing deals. And at this time, I'm
Documenting the
like
process.
22. I closed my first deal when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
And now I'm like 22, 23, and I'm posting wires and I'm posting properties and stuff like that.
Mr.
So
Wire.
people are
Fact.
I have him
Wire,
saved in my
yeah.
phone as Mr. Wire every other day.
Guys, if just a little sidebar, if you guys don't know, if you were to follow Jordan, you'll see exactly why Cam calls him Mr. Wire. So after this, you'll see I'm gonna put all Jordan stuff in there, and you'll see what a wire really looks like. But
Yeah, and I do that just to show, one, people like I'm legit.
yeah,
There's a
facts.
lot of people that fake the shit, right?
Sure.
And two, to show the possibilities of when you just bet on yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like I've made annual year salary in one deal. You know what I mean? And it's like you can't do that in a lot of other
No.
industries or jobs or anything
Sure.
like that, right? So I start posting my journey, and people are starting to hit me up. How you do this? How can I learn? And I was charging people at the time like $25 for an hour phone call. You know what I mean? Like just
Which is
super
crazy
cheap.
now.
Yeah, which I would never do now. But I genuinely wanted to help people because I was not far removed from being that person like, yo, I'm broke and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. So like I'm trying to help those people, but it came to a point where it was a lot of people. Right. So I made a program, a course and stuff like that to be able to teach people at the masses. But then there's other people that want like that one-on-one help,
Yeah.
right? That need it. Right. And that's when I started doing it, and I realized it was super beneficial for me because, one, it's another stream of income. Two, you're really helping these people. Like the amount of people that I've helped is just like I'm blessed to be able to be in a position that I am to even do that, right? And then 3, my business actually thrived off it because they were bringing me deals that
Yeah.
I could buy, right? So it was vertically integrated, and I'm like, all right, well, this works, and this is helping a lot of people. This is making me more money.
Mhm.
This is giving me proof of concept in terms of like I'm legit. I know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
things like that. And that started back in 2021, and
Oh, wow.
I've been doing it ever since.
So you mentioned that people could bring you deals. So I'm assuming that that's a way that people could potentially, if they have no money or may not have too much time on their hands, but they may be around realtors or maybe around people selling. Like that's something that they can.
So I have one of my students that like runs the marketing, like she pays for the marketing, and we just do everything else. Like, well, like I bought a property that was from her marketing, and when we close on it, I pay her, and she don't even know what the fuck's going on, right? Like I update her, right? But she does no work at all.
Crazy.
She does no work at all. I just closed on another one like 2 months ago. One of my students brings me the lead. He does no work at all. We are the one that buys it, puts the fixes into it, sells it. When it's closed, he gets paid, right? So those are easy ways for them to come to me and make 10 grand off me or pay
Yeah.
them. Like
Mm-hmm.
that girl's are probably gonna make like 25 grand off that deal,
Wow.
right? So it's a lot of money. So they're able to bring me deals, and my team kind of take it from there.
Can you talk to, our viewers and tell us a little bit, what does that mentorship, program look like, or, you teaching these people, someone that might be interested?
Yeah, so I have went through some good mentorships. Eventually, like when I started, I didn't. I've went through some good ones, and I've went through some bad ones.
Mhm.
Ones that I paid over 20 grand for, ones that I paid for 10 grand for, ones
How
that I
much?
paid
How
for
much?
over 20 grand.
Right.
Yeah.
Just, and I just want to put that into perspective because, like, for someone like myself, like, I understand like where he's coming from. You may hear this like 10, 20, like that's somebody's like that's a crazy bill to pay for a mentorship. Like I don't even know what a mentorship is, right? Some people may not
Yeah.
even know what it is. But what what he's coming from and where we come from is the perspective. It's not about how much it costs, it's how much can this make me,
Price
right?
versus value.
Yeah.
Exactly. Price versus value. And sometimes, yeah, it may cost you 10, 20K. I've been there before investing in that much into mentorships, but the value that you get, and especially the people that you meet from that, where you can constantly meet future business partners, future clients that you can do
Mhm.
deals constantly over and over again. That little 20K investment, you can easily 10x that.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And for those, there were some were good because they gave you the education but no support, right? Some the
Yeah.
vice versa. So I wanted to make mine like both. I wanted people to learn and then also have that support. So basically, I just teach people A through Z of what I do every single step of the way, right? My whole process, my whole system, what I say, what we do at this point, contracts we use, how we value deals. I mean, absolutely everything. So we're teaching, but not only are we teaching, but we're setting up their systems just like mine are set up,
Nice.
Mhm.
right? Whether it be their CRM, whether it be their marketing plan, whether it's helping them find a good market to get into, whether it's their dispo process, which is finding buyers to sell the deals to.
Okay.
And then we're supporting them as well, right?
Love it.
So it's education, it's hands-on, and then it's ongoing support, right?
Mhm.
Because I can give you the game, but when you implement it, you're gonna have questions,
Absolutely.
right? Like once you get into the game, it's a little different. I can teach you everything, but once you're in, you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
what am I doing in this situation, right?
That's
So
baseball.
we're giving them, yeah. So we're giving them that extra step as well. So it really fully just encompasses the whole process.
And now, where can people find this mentorship or the name of your?
Usually for right now, you just got to DM me. That's it. I even like outwardly market it too much, but if you DM me and fit the criteria, then we'll make something work.
What were some of the no, go ahead, go ahead.
So, for just as a quick little sidebar, for anyone who is going to be interested, who's going to want to look into it, like I said, I'm going to leave Jordan's Instagram in the bio, and I'm going to also leave his Instagram underneath as a banner so that you can follow him. If you want to DM him, you want to be a mentee to his plan, his game, or whatever the case may be, shoot him a DM. You heard right there. He doesn't market it. So you have to go and outwardly put yourself out there, and you have to look for that success. So
Yep.
you make the move, you invest in yourself, he's going to invest in you, and you'll see. Be
Fact.
just like him. But
Nah, for sure.
I want to say something real quick that I heard recently
Go ahead.
that will help you as well. And it will help you, and Ed will help you. I heard something from a dude named Jeremy Haynes, and this is when it comes to just mentorship,
Mhm.
right? And he says, excuse my language, but he says he measures stuff on get fucked spectrum, right? Listen to this. This is very powerful. It really is. He says, when a client, a mentee, gives me money, I'm fucking them right now because they gave me money, right? I haven't given them anything yet. He says, my goal is to flip that as quick as possible to where they're fucking me. So where they pay $5,000 for a mentorship,
That's a crazy
but they make 45 grand from the 5K investment.
Yeah, facts.
Now they got more value than what they invested in, right? So it's like having that mindset.
That's tough.
In mentorship or just in any fucking relationship like that. If you go in with that mindset, super powerful.
Yo,
that's the goal.
Yeah, because now you're focused on how fast can I turn the tables.
That's it.
Especially as a mentor, having a mentee, and how fast can you not only help them recoup their money, but also make a profit from this. The one thing I'm curious about is like, what are some of your biggest losses that you took? Because we understand that during you know, your first deal was 10 months, and then your second deal, you know, was like, I believe you said 5 months after that. And we understand like a lot of the stuff that you went through there. But then, okay, now you're seeing success, right? You're getting these 6-figure deals, you know, you're making somebody's salary in one day. But like, what are some of the losses that now you face then? Because I've personally been there and sat there with you, because we shared an office together for 3 years in Long Island City, which is like some of my most favorite times as an entrepreneur. Especially, I got to see firsthand why he's in the position he's in. I mean, and Ed could speak to it too. I mean, Jordan was the first person there, just like baseball, first person there, last person out. And I'm talking about like being there from 8:30, 9 o'clock to doing mentorship calls at 6:30, 7:30, and leaving exhausted, but doing the same thing 5 days a week for 3 years straight. And he was probably doing that before then. But that just goes to show you the amount of time and dedication that he put. And so don't just look at him as like, oh, he's lucky, or no, like he created his own luck. So kind of going back to the question, what were some of the biggest losses that you took once you after you started seeing success, and then some of the lessons that you learned from those losses?
Yeah, so we're about to get real right now.
Yes.
Real right now.
Love it.
So 2020, great. 2021 was fucking phenomenal. Okay. I bought an 8-unit building in 2021 that I still own part of now. And I'll tell you why, only part of it. I own part of now. And then 2022, I'm like, oh, this is going to be even a better year. I buy a 10-unit portfolio.
And what does that mean?
January, like, so 5 duplexes. So 5 2-family homes, 10 units total. Okay. Now with the 8-unit and the 10 units, I probably invested $100,000 of my own money, right? And at that point, I'm still 23, 24 years old.
This is cash you invest in.
My own cash, not a loan.
You need some credit. You need
my
some
own
credit.
cash.
We'll get into that. No, I got
talk
something
to my
for them.
guy here, because that's the route I would have went. But I was just like, you know, you hear buy real estate, you know, go broke investing. You hear all those things, so I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Sure, I'll do it. And I quickly see that I'm running out of cash. You know what I mean? Like I truly am. Like some wholesale deals fell through, because in 2021 I had multiple 6 figures in my account at 23 years old or 24. I'm like, holy shit, this is nuts. So now at that point, I'm God now, right?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm the man. Everything I touch turns to gold. So I'm buying these properties, not doing any due diligence on them really. I'm just like, oh yeah, 8 units, yeah, the numbers check, cool, let's buy it, right? It turns out they just weren't good buys. You know what I mean? Like the tenants weren't paying. We had squatters. We were in lawsuits because fucking the tenants' dogs were biting people on the streets. Like, and we were getting sued for it. Like shit you wouldn't even think of. You know what I mean? And we were just so. And then the properties needed a ton of work, so it was more money we had to put out. And I'm quickly seeing like, yo, this is not a good deal. Like I just bought a really, really bad deal in a really bad area too. They were ego buys, right? And I'm seeing, yo, I'm running out of cash. Then I flip some quick deals and I get a lot of cash back. I'm like, oh shit. But then I invested in the $20,000 mentorship. Even though I learned a lot of things that I still use today that helped me crack that 7-figure mark, at the time I ran back out of cash. All the way till at the end of that year, I was negative in my account.
Wow.
Negative to the point where, and I told you this, I keep a jar of coins. It's like all my change I throw in a jar. I had to go cash those to get some money, and I cashed them. And even when I cashed them, I was still negative $500. I have the picture receipt. I have a video of myself looking crazy, no hair, beard looking crazy, and I'm in Stop and Shop, and I'm walking around, just fully embarrassed, right? Like so humiliating, and of course, there was someone else fucking putting change in too. I'm like, nah, I gotta wait for this dickhead to go so I can go. And I go and I just remember being like, yo, how did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know how it happened so fast. And I had employees and stuff like that I still had to pay.
Wow.
I had to borrow money from people to say, hey, listen, I'll get this back to you in a week, but I gotta pay this one of my VAs now. So I was just moving shit around eventually to get out of those properties because they were so bad. I had to sell off a percentage of the 8 unit as well to basically give up and make it make sense for that investor, because that property was so bad that he needed part of a good property, which is the 8 unit. So I had to sell most of that. So over $100,000 gone after all that hard work. And that's what I kept thinking, was like, damn, bro, I from 2017 to 2020, I put in so much work to get to that point, and here I am again. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I cannot believe that this happened. Obviously, thank God I was able to get out of it pretty quickly, because that's the beauty of wholesaling. You know, this shit could happen and change real quick. And when it changed, it changed very, very fast again. And we're on a growth rate that's insane the past 3 years, but that is a $100,000 plus loss, and I probably needed it because it taught me so much about money management.
That's
about
rare.
real estate investing in general.
Humbled the shit out of you.
Humbled the shit out of me, right? Because like I said, I thought I was the guy, and 8 months later, or not, probably 10, 11 months later, I'm walking through Stop and Shop with a jar full of coins. You know what I mean? So it could happen that quick.
Yeah, and that's something that I need you guys as viewers to really, really like take into consideration. This is someone who's running a whole operation, and he's just said that he's negative in his account. He has employees to pay. He has a life that he still needs to go out and live. He has bills. He has all of these things, and he has to keep a composure as if everything is perfectly fine. Because when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a leader, when you're a boss, everything could be going crazy behind the scenes. Yep. You have to step into that scene like everything is under control. And it reminds me of something that 50 Cent once said in a speaking thing that he did, in a panel that he did, that in business, the number one rule is to never look like you need anything. Because that's when, never look like you need anything, because that's when they're going to want to do a favor for you.
Word.
So like he's there and he has all of this going on in Stop and Shop, negative 500. He still has to step into the office. Like, he still has $500,000 on him. So I could just imagine, where you were mentally, like in that feeling. But do you feel like, since you had already suffered and you took like 10 months of being broke to find your first deal, that when you suffered that $100,000 loss and you're like, damn, I'm back to zero, did you feel like you were really at back to zero, or did you feel like you were starting with experience so you weren't really as worried about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I didn't feel like I was back at zero.
Okay.
I was just so upset at the fact that I worked so hard for that money and I lost it like that, right? That was what really pissed me off. Yeah. But 2 months after that negative 500, we closed the deal for like $35,000, and it was back on.
Power
right?
Wholesaling.
Yeah, and it was just back on. And then obviously I knew exactly what to do, what was working, what employees were good, what employees were not, and just repeated that whole system. I think by the end of February, right, which was like maybe 3-4 months after going negative 500, I had $100,000 back in the account, right? Because I just knew that skill and I mastered it so well that it wasn't the point of, damn, I lost it, I don't know if I'm gonna get it back. It's just like, damn, I lost it. And that $100,000 should have been $300,000 or $400,000, whatever it may be. Right? That was the main thing for me. But that's the thing about mastering your craft, is once you do feel like you're a master at it, you could get set back to zero and I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what happened with me.
Now, you have mentioned earlier, like, you wish you had ran into someone like Cam when, this was all going on. would you have done it like in a credit sense? Like, would you have done it
Yeah, I
that way?
probably would have, because it just accelerates the timeline, right? Like instead of waiting the 10 months where I have no money,
Mhm.
so I have to go fucking make construction paper signs and then hang them up everywhere, I could have hired a cold call or sent more mail or sent text messages and stuff like that. And that timeline from 10 months probably gets cut down to 2,
Yeah.
right? Which
Mhm.
is, like you said before, time is the most valuable asset. So I'd much rather get it done quicker, take on a little risk, um, and use the bank's money to just keep flipping money. So obviously,
Yeah.
I didn't know shit about that, back then. But if I was in my shoes right now, and if I was speaking with someone that was in my shoes, that's exactly what I would push them towards.
OPM, baby. Other people's
Yeah.
money. Now, one thing I want to talk about, like your personal life a little bit and how you
Mhm.
balance that and entrepreneurship. But even before that, like speak on some of your students, right? Like speak on some of your students or some of the success stories that you've had. Like I've been there, like in the office where you're on speakerphone, like Jordan, I just closed 40K deal, and like,
Yeah.
like what? So like speak on some of students of yours that are doing pretty well right now.
So I'm at a point right now where closing deals for myself is amazing, right? But you never get that feeling back. Like once you close so many deals, it's like you're chasing a new high. Um, so it's almost like my students closing deals,
That's
just because I remember that first deal feeling
Yeah.
gives me that high, right? So I just had a student 2 weeks ago, never closed a deal before. Really didn't know anything real estate related, not the ins and outs or anything. She closed I believe a $15,000 deal and a $10,000 deal back to back. I think on the same day, actually, on a Monday.
Nice.
So she made
25
25 grand. So
on
she invested
Monday.
5 grand into me. She made 25 grand. That spectrum, right?
Yep.
I flipped it real quick. Um, I've had students quit their job and do this full time now.
Nice.
I've had a student make $162,000 in a month and hire his mom and retire and get her out of her
Yo,
job.
that's
That's
tough.
dope.
What?
Um,
That's dope.
I have students right now doing 5 or multiple 5 figures per month right now. Again, multiple students that I didn't advise them on this, but they were younger, but they stopped going to school to do this and are doing it very successfully now. Um, and then I
So
have
start going to
students.
college? Like,
Yeah, like
like
20, 30.
she did you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you over here probably like, oh,
Yeah, right. And it's a blessing to be able to do that. And I'm
Right.
not going to sit here and say every student comes in and makes that amount in 60 days or 30 days, right? But the game plan is there. What's your saying?
I always say the blueprint is on us, but the execution is on you. So we could give you the whole blueprint from A to Z like he does. And I've actually gone through some of your course
Yeah.
with Nikki. Fire. But like obviously you have to execute on the information because then it's just learned knowledge. Just
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
still knowledge.
And
Wasted potential.
Yup.
right. And the power of it, I definitely realized the power of it, but I really realized it when I had one of my former students go on a podcast. I don't know if you saw this clip.
That was the recent. That was
Someone else's
Oh, I
podcast.
saw that.
And they start talking about me. And he's like, yeah, I bought they're like, yeah, shout out to Jordan. He's like, he's the real deal. I bought his course for 500. He should charge 5 grand for that shit.
Oh yeah.
Because there was so much value in it. And he got us into it and we made this amount. I forgot what he said. We made this amount from the course. And now he's a beast. He probably, I can't say because I don't really ask him, but if I had to guess, he probably grosses somewhere $50,000 a month or something like that, right? And it all started from that course. I was his first introduction into real estate. So it's a blessing to be able to be in that position. I don't take it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely something I love to do now.
Man, $500 from $500. He's saying that you should have charged 5K, which I always say, right?
Yeah, he
you
does say
charge.
that.
I'm like, but this course is too cheap. Like you give,
Yeah.
you literally give everything in that and some, right? But I think that just shows a testament of like the knowledge and the success because it's not just you having the success. Your students are really, really, seeing the fruits of their labor
Yep.
just by going over the blueprint and then once again executing on that blueprint.
For sure.
And I feel like that also speaks to you as a leader and an entrepreneur and a boss because you know, there are a lot of people who like to say that they're a boss or they put themselves in a boss position, but a boss is someone who can make the people around them just as good, if not better. So what does it make any sense if you have all this knowledge and you're not giving it out to anybody, or the people around you ain't up there with you?
Facts.
You can tell just from your conversation, hearing the testimonies, that you're an actual embodiment of a boss and of a leader, because you're bringing those people up with you to where, yeah, everyone hears and sees, oh yeah, that's Jordan, but nah, don't worry about me. Look at what my student is doing. Like that speaks volumes. That's someone that I want them to lead me.
100%.
And that's why you have the success that you have. To kind of segue into like kind of the last question, I wanted to ask you something that I feel like is very important, which is, with your crazy story and everything that you've been through, if you could talk to the youth, if you could talk to the next generation, what would you tell that athlete who is going to be going through that identity crisis, who's going to hit that wall to where, man, baseball is not going to be it? For someone who took themselves, they were at the peak of their game, they had a fall from grace, -500, 10 months not making anything. What piece of advice could you give that kid going forward?
Yeah, that's a super important question, because, and I wanna hear your opinions on this, because it's not something that I did, but it's gonna be my answer, and what I encourage people to do is, one, you first have to understand there are 100,000 trillion million different things that can fill the void of baseball, right? Baseball is not just, you're not dying after you stop baseball. There is something that can replace it. Maybe not fully, but it will replace your level of intensity or passion for the competitiveness and things like that. And number two, which is the most important thing, is you got to give yourself grace and time when finding it, right? You're not going to stop playing baseball and next day be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Amen.
You know what I mean? You got to try shit. You got to meet new people, right? You got to have new conversations. You got to have a different mindset and be open to different things.
Yeah.
And you got to give yourself time. It's just not going to happen overnight. Like I said, it took me maybe close to a year before I got into real estate. And I was kind of beating myself up like, yo, I got to find something. I got to find something. And that's just not the reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what you're doing right now, you didn't do that shit, you know, right away.
Nah.
You know what I mean? What you're doing right now, you know, it wasn't the next day.
Nah.
If you beat yourself up, you're putting yourself in a worse position. You have to understand and give yourself grace, to give yourself time, and it's going to take time to find that new thing. It's going to take new experiences. It's going to take failures. Like, nah, I actually really didn't like that, right? You will find something 100,000% that is going to make you happy and fill that void for baseball, and it's just going to take some trial and error. That's it.
I 100% agree with you, because I personally stopped playing baseball in 2020. It's now in 2025 that I just figured out what the hell I want to do. And, you know, Cam got to meet me probably 3.5, 4 years ago. So Cam saw me when I wasn't in this business mode, when I wasn't in entrepreneur mode. So he's literally seen the shift and the change. And like, what Jordan is saying is 100% true. You need to give yourself time, and it's hard to give yourself time, especially
done.
Yeah, bro. You know, it's just like, you know, something that Alex Hormozi has said: life is simple, but it ain't easy.
Yeah.
You know, it is a simple concept, but it's not easy.
Nope.
And you know, giving yourself grace is hard, because like you mentioned earlier, you know, you're disappointing people. You feel like you failed at life and everything, and then with the coaching staff that you might have had growing up, you know, sometimes it feels like giving yourself grace is not possible. I don't know, Cam. I feel like you could definitely agree with that. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I think I was very fortunate that I was in a very good environment.
Yeah.
In my environment, and you'll hear me say this so many times, right? Your environment will change you faster than you'll change it. And I was around people, you know, shout out to my brother Mo, who introduced me to the credit game literally not too far after I graduated, maybe a month or two. And this is 2020, June of 2020. And even on my Instagram highlights, you'll see like, you know, me start to talk about it. Fast forward 5 years, I'm still going strong with the credit stuff. So it's big on your environment. I think baseball players, also athletes in general, we have like an upper edge on a lot of people, because yeah, we have that crisis, but think about it. How many baseball players you know, like Jordan, who have taken the same work ethic, and now are very successful in real estate, credit. You know, JP's on his way to becoming a solid trainer, and you know, just embodying health is wealth. Zach is an attorney. Like, there's just so many different avenues that we want to highlight, you know, life after baseball, that you could potentially go into just by putting yourself in that environment. And once again, if you can't pay with your money, maybe you just sit there with them on YouTube. Maybe you sit there, you pay like a $27, you know, for their ebook or something like that, and just start from there.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing that I did really want to highlight is just some of the personal, like, how did you balance like entrepreneurship, or even during your baseball days in your personal life? Because I think you embody entrepreneurship in the sense of a lot of people really don't. If you really want to take this to the next level, most times you have no social life, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time your social life, like we spoke on the last pod, is us going to a trip, you know, to play baseball, and then now we're going to Walmart and having fun in Walmart or something like that. So even entrepreneurship, bro, like, I know you're, you know, before your 12-hour days, you're in the gym for 2 hours, and then like, you're on calls all day. So like, how do you balance your social life?
I don't. It's just that simple. I truly don't. It's something that I'm still not struggling with, because to be honest with you, right now I don't want to balance it. I really don't.
That's an interesting perspective.
I don't want to balance it. I don't. I want to.
I feel that, but why?
Because, and you know, we spoke about this. I'm in a position right now where I'm young. I have energy. I have no kids right now. I'm fucking squeezing out every single second and minute. I feel guilty going to bed at 11 and I have to wake up at 5. I'm not getting enough sleep, but I feel guilty because I'm like, I want to keep going. I want to squeeze it out, right? And I think as of right now, if you want to be great at what you do, there is no fucking balance. That's a lie.
Thank you.
Right? So I accepted that. I don't see people that I love as much, right? Maybe I don't talk to people as much. I enjoy being in the trenches right now. I'll stay home all fucking day and just work, you know? And I actually thought to myself yesterday, which is funny. I'm like, God, this is kind of unhealthy. But I admitted to myself, I said, you know, it feels like right now that everything that's not work related is kind of a burden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is not how life should be. But I'm just embracing it because I know the quicker I get the shit done that I want to get done right now, the quicker I'll have freedom and be able to do things I want and take care of my family and do all that stuff. So there really is no work balance. I'm very routine based. I wake up at the same time every single day, eat the same shit every single day.
Yep.
I work all day.
Yep.
And that's it. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger always says, like, life is not just life. It's the purpose is to conquer it. Right. So if you want to do that or have any chance of doing that, there is no work-life balance.
That's a fact. You know, I saw a post, you know, and to kind of wrap things up, I saw a post that said, you know, there is no work-life balance. There's just seasons for certain things.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it is. Guess who said it? My own goal. He said there is no there's no work-life balance. Why do I want to be balanced? He was like, that means that they're not on the same plane. He was like, there's a certain season where I have to be more focused here. There's a certain season I might have to be more focused here, but I don't want that work-life balance. And something that you have brought up is that you're very routine. And something that I want to like highlight to people before we go is that success and successful systems are boring.
Yeah.
Yep.
They seem very boring. They're not sexy at all, but they work. And when you can master boring, when you can master stuff that's not pretty, you're on your way.
Fact.
But as always, guys, I appreciate you for tuning in for Life After Baseball. I want to give a huge shout out before we go to our sponsors, Wealthy Off Credit. Jordan was talking about how if he had the opportunity and if he knew about credit, he would have used that to help fund the deal. Well, with our sponsor, Wealthy Off Credit, a beautiful, a very trusted and accredited credit company that is helping business owners fund their businesses, not using the money from their own pocket like Jordan did, using the bank's money while still being able to have that money in your pocket and fund deals or do whatever it is that you want to do. It's also sponsored by Rooted and Rebuilt Health. It is a holistic health company that is not just about focusing on workouts and everything like that. We are a whole lifestyle reset to where we offer self-help talks, we offer shadow works, prompts for reflections, meal plans, workout splits, one-on-one talks, everything, debunking myths and all of that. So huge shout out to our sponsors. But the most important shout out for today goes to our guest, Jordan Santiago. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the time that you gave us today, your story, your rawness, your vulnerability, everything, bro. You're appreciated. You're a gem.
Nah, I appreciate you guys. And again, like, this podcast is it. Let me tell you, like, when he told me, I'm like, yo, that's a good ass idea. Cause there's really nothing else like it. And it is a very important part of your journey. And it can put a negative light on your journey of moving forward, or it could put you push you in a positive way. So understanding this part of your life is too powerful and important to skip over. So I appreciate you guys for having me. It was
Thank
fun.
you.
Nah, for
Thank
sure.
you.
And real quick, Jordan, tell them where they can find you. I know, once again, I also want to highlight our sponsor doing deals remotely, right? Jordan's brand. But just speak on a little bit on like how they can find you, what they can expect moving forward in the next couple of years as well.
Yeah, so you guys can find me, follow me on Instagram at thejordansantiago, on X or Twitter at thejsantiago, on YouTube at thejordansantiago. And for me, I'm just continuing to build a business, right? I've seen $100 million plus business and real estate portfolio. We're building other things like systems and CRMs and tools to make real estate investing
The CRM you got is fire.
and the process for everything much easier and much more efficient. So just continuing to get better as a human, whether it's fitness and, being an uncle, being a friend, being a son, and just fucking ripping business and crushing competition and all that other shit. And just giving out a lot of game.
Love
giving
it.
out a lot of game. And that's pretty much it.
Love it. But guys, as always, thank you for this episode. Thank you for your time. As always, this is Life After Baseball, where we show you how you can go from dugouts to deals.
Or from cleats to clients.
We'll see you in the next one.
Take care.